We come together in this moment. We bind our hearts and minds, for we all form a tapestry woven from one life, one creation, undivided, all unique expressions of God. We come together now in one accord. Come together, and this moment we bind our hearts and minds, for we all form a tapestry woven from one life, one creation, undivided, our unique expressions of God. We come together now in one accord. Thank you. Thank you, Cole.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, good evening. Let's give some more love to Jim and Cole. Welcome, everybody. How are we doing? We're doing great. I like that. I like that. Welcome to the Revealing Experience. I'm Sunny. I always forget to say my name. Anyway, so I'm Sunny Daye, and I'm ever so grateful to be here. That's Mello. And Sunny Cantrell Smith, can you just give a wave? This is our lovely friend from Kentucky. She writes amazing music. She's an amazing minister, and we're just so grateful to have her here. And she's also one of our dearest family friends. Family. So let's get started in singing our opening song. I'm going to play on this one, so I'm going to take my little self right over here. So this one's not in our program just yet, but this is Step Into the Light, and I think we've sang it before together, yes? And it's really easy. If you haven't, then just join right in. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the peace of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the joy of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the joy of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the peace of who you are. Step into the light, step into the love, step into the truth of who you are. I am and you are the light of the world. I am and you are the light of the world.
Thank you, thank you.
That was awesome. So as we sing about the truth of who we are, stepping into our light, stepping into that love and that peace and that joy that we are, we just sing reveal, singing about that which already is, that we get to express, that we get to be. Reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, love is what I see. Reveal the love in me. The peace. Reveal, reveal the peace inside of me. Yeah. Reveal the peace that I was meant to be. And every time I open up, peace is what I see. Reveal the peace in me. The joy. Reveal, reveal the joy inside of me. Reveal the joy that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, joy is what I see. Reveal the joy in me. Reveal, reveal the love inside of me. Reveal the love that I was meant to be. Every time I open up, love is what I see. Every time. Every time I open up, peace. Peace is what I see. Every time. Every time I open up, joy. Joy is what I see. Reveal the love. Reveal the love in me.
Thank you, Sunny, so much. Isn't it? She just opens up the evening beautifully. And Jim Bianchi and Cole. Thank you so much. I love it. I'm so glad to be here this week, just for Easter week and Passover. He's telling me, get closer to the mic. I can't hear you. Yeah. So, this week of between Passover and Easter and just that whole time of rejuvenation, I just love it. I love this time of the year, and we have to think of it all year long, that we're always in that rejuvenation. So let's take a time and go into the stillness. Take a minute to let go and be in that beautiful space. Taking a time to go to those giggles that I hear in the front row, those giggles from my grandkids, knowing that that is what God is. That place of joy, that place of letting go, that place of being open and receptive to that God flow, to those solutions, those potentialities, and knowing that this evening unfolds in that perfect way for listening to that word that speaks directly to that intuitive, to that inner voice, that brings answers, that brings revelations, that brings insights. Knowing that and grateful for Reverend Sunshine here, knowing that she unfolds in that beautiful way she does each week, in that thought that gets us to think and feel and sense. And I bless that. I bless this time. I bless this sacred place, knowing it is all good stuff. And so it is. Amen. And being this week, we are following the science of mind, and that is around this week. Today was page 161. And the whole theme of this week is living faith. So on that subject, I thought of a beautiful story here that is very common, and I know you've heard it before, and I'm going to read it to you. Once a little boy was playing outdoors and found a fascinating caterpillar. He carefully picked it up and took it home to show his mother. He asked his mother if he could keep it, and she said he could if he would take good care of it. The little boy got a large jar from his mother and put plants to eat and a stick to climb on in the jar. Every day he watched the caterpillar and brought it new plants to eat. One day the caterpillar climbed up the stick and started acting strangely. The boy worriedly called his mother, who came and understood that the caterpillar was creating a cocoon. The mother explained to the boy how the caterpillar was going to go through a metamorphosis and become a butterfly. The little boy was thrilled to hear about the changes his caterpillar would go through. He watched every day, waiting for the butterfly to emerge. One day it happened. A small hole appeared in the cocoon, and the butterfly started to struggle to come out. At first, the boy was excited, but soon he became concerned. The butterfly was struggling so hard to get out, it looked like it couldn't break free. It looked desperate. It looked like it was making no progress. The boy was so concerned, he decided to help. He ran to get scissors and then walked back because he had learned not to run with the scissors. He snipped the cocoon to make the hole bigger, and the butterfly quickly emerged. As the butterfly came out, the boy was surprised. It had a swollen body and small, shriveled wings. He continued to watch the butterfly, expecting that at any moment the wings would dry out, enlarge, and expand to support the swollen body. He knew that in time the body would shrink and the butterfly's wings would expand, but nothing happened. The butterfly spent the rest of his life crawling around with a swollen body and shriveled wings. It never was able to fly. As the boy tried to figure out what had gone wrong, his mother took him to talk to a scientist from a local college. He learned that the butterfly was supposed to struggle. In fact, the butterfly struggled to push its way through the tiny opening of the cocoon, pushes the fluid out of its body and into its wings. Without the struggle, the butterfly would never ever fly. The boy's good intentions hurt the butterfly. So in that message, taking the thought of faith and trust, just like in that metamorphosis of the butterfly, taking in knowing that faith, trusting as the caterpillar trusted in this beautiful outcome, trusting it will happen, and it does. And so it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise, for that beautiful story. And thank you for that beautiful prayer. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. What a joy it is to be here with you this evening. And what a joy it is to actually talk about, as my dear friend, Reverend Sonny Cantrell Smith, who's with us today, she likes to talk about the F word. Faith. Why'd y'all go there? Yeah, living faith. We get to talk about living faith today. So welcome to Wednesday evening. Welcome to the Revealing Experience. Welcome to the new you, because what is about to emerge from you, kind of like that butterfly in that beautiful story, is about to happen right here in our time together. And it's beautiful because I'm going to let you struggle. And at times it's going to feel a little uncomfortable. And don't worry about it, because we're going to have an absolute opportunity to practice some living faith to make it through. Now, all along, as Denise has been talking about, we've been reading the Science of Mind book a little bit at a time. And between now and December 31st, we will have completed the entire book as a community. So if you're joining us for the first time, or if you're intrigued by this idea, you can pick up your Science of Mind book, and outside in the family room, we actually have each and every day and what pages to read. You can start today, and then by April the 15th next year, you'll be done reading the whole book, just a few pages at a time. And that's how we do it here. We don't just try to ram it all down the throat. We just do it a little bit at a time. And it's wonderful, because where we are today in terms of living faith is we're at this turning point where we get an opportunity to really see where we are. And we get an opportunity to gauge if what we've been doing and where we are now, if it matches. If, in fact, the talk is catching up with the walk, right? If indeed our walk is catching up with our talk. Now, a lot of times people talk about, people speak with forked tongues, or they're talking out the side of their neck if you're a little more urban, right? And really what's meant by that is that sometimes I might say I'm about something, and this is who I am, and you hear me talking about this is who I am, this is who I profess to be, and yet my actions haven't necessarily caught up with who I say I be. And that's the process. It's our process of unfoldment. I mean, we can look at the caterpillar and say, hey, look at that butterfly crawling around, because it hasn't caught up yet. It hasn't caught up yet. And it's the same with us, that as we begin to unfold and as we begin to really uncover the truth of who we are, we begin to recognize that, and then we begin to live from that place, and then we begin to really walk in that brand of godness. We begin to walk in that brand of goodness. We begin to recognize who we really are, and then we can walk and live and have our beingness in that. But until we recognize who and what we really are, a lot of times we're walking around kind of in a daze. We're walking around sleepwalking. We're walking around confused as to who we really are. And so today's reading and this week's reading really around faith has been excellent, because it gives us an opportunity to really find out what we're about and what we've been about, or what we want to be about. And by that I mean, there was a lot of words in today's reading that I wanted to really break down. In particular, this passage on page 162. So our reading today was, what was it titled actually? Can anybody tell me? Conviction. Yeah. See, we got a couple folks following along. Conviction. Right? So, we struggle in life sometimes not because it's the process of our unfoldment, but sometimes because we are not knowing who we really are. Because we continue to allow ourselves to be hypnotized by the world of effects. Because we continue to entertain and feed ourselves with the continuous lies about who we are and who the world thinks we are, instead of doing our part to remember who we are, to feed ourselves the information about who we are, to envelop ourselves and surround ourselves around a community and people who can remind us of our truth, where we can indeed begin to study and engage in our spiritual practice so that we remember and that we know clearly who we are. When we fail to do that, we struggle. We struggle because there's something within us that says, I'm supposed to fly. I'm supposed to be this. I'm supposed to be that. I don't get it, where I'm just living in mediocrity right now. Sunny and I have a conversation about all the time. She's like, we're supposed to be da-da-da-da-da, or we're supposed to be here. Like, where's the bridge from where I am now to what I know within me is what I'm supposed to be, or what I'm supposed to be expressing or experiencing? How many of you have maybe felt something very similar? Like, I'm not supposed to be living here. I'm supposed to be living in London, or I'm supposed to be living somewhere else, or I'm supposed to be, surfing right now, and I'm here at this 9 to 5, or I'm supposed to be expressing or singing on some, big stage, or I'm supposed to be like inventing the cure for cancer, or whatever it is, or whatever that goal is. I'm supposed to be, living my life to its fullest. And yet there's something between us, between that experience and this. And what we get an opportunity to look at is, am I doing, meaning am I really being my God self? Or am I just talking the talk and showing up on Wednesday night or on Sunday? Or am I just occasionally picking up the book? Or am I actively engaged in what is necessary to get me from point A to point B? Am I actively engaged in a practice that will catapult me and that will be the trajectory for me to live and be my greatness? Now, everybody's greatness looks different. Everybody doesn't want a Rolls Royce. Some folks are happy with a Hyundai. And I was looking at a couple of them, and they're kind of sexy looking these days. I mean, they've come up quite a bit. But everybody wants something different. So it's not like I judge a Hyundai or a Rolls Royce or this or that. Everybody's greatness is their own greatness. And so good on you, or good for you, as they say, right? Whatever it is for you, it is for you. But if there's something between you and that greatness, that expression, that opportunity to live fully, it may be because we have been engaged in watching the news, believing all the stuff that they tell us, engaging and listening to music that degrades us or that tells us that we're not good enough. We may be engaged in gossip and backbiting and character assassination, which is really talking about God. Hello? Because the minute you're talking about somebody else and gossiping and backbiting about them, you're really saying that about yourself, because there's only the one. It may be that we're just, engaged in staying in that small circle. Oh, I don't want to be with them because they're this or they're that. And, keep excluding and excluding and excluding. Before you know it, you're the only one left. Because nobody's ever good enough. Or maybe they're too good. Maybe they're too good for me to hang out with them. Maybe I'm not good enough. Whatever it is that we continuously feed ourselves, we got to look and see, is that what's blocking me from my goodness? Is that what is keeping me from living and experiencing my life to the fullest? And if it is, what do I replace it with? Because it's not just about take it away. But if I'm going to take it away and leave a void, what is to fill the void? What is to fill the void? So, in our reading today, this one paragraph I tried to dissect and dissect and dissect because it was so rich. So here it is, and I'll talk about it for just a few minutes, okay? Ernest Holmes says, because we fail to realize that principle with a capital P is not bound by precedent, we limit our faith, there's the F word, we limit our faith to that which has already been accomplished, and a few miracles result. When, through intuition, faith finds its proper place under divine law, there are no limitations, and what are called miraculous results follow. So let's, one more time. Because we fail to realize that principle is not bound by precedent, we limit our faith to that which has already been accomplished. And a few miracles result. A few miracles. A couple of things. Now, let's get some clarification here. Principle with a capital P. What is principle? Anybody? Life, what is? It's a fundamental truth. The fundamental truth in which we base everything. We base everything on the fundamental truth that God is. It's principle. God is. And from there, we base everything on God is. God is, therefore I am. God is, therefore we are. God is, therefore life is. Life is God. God is our life. We have our living and being in God. This principle, this idea, this basis in which we set everything. We set our beliefs, our behaviors, everything is based upon this principle. Okay? So when we fail to realize that principle, that God, that life, that it happens unto me, it is done unto me as I believe, whatever the principle is, whatever the belief is that is set in motion, that is now the foundation for how I live and how I breathe and how I do what I do and how I be what I be, when I fail to realize that principle is not bound by precedent. So what's precedent? What has come before, but precedence, mind you, when a precedence is set, something has happened, and we use that occurrence as a guide for similar situations. So if A happens, when A happens again, we kind of go, oh yeah, we know how this is going to turn out, because it set the precedent, it set the tone. So now every time A happens, we think B is going to happen, B, C, and D is going to happen, whatever the case may be. But it's not applicable. Put an N/A on that, because we fail to remember and to recognize that principle, that which is the truth, that which we have based our life upon, is not set by precedent and does not abide by what has happened before. We live in a limitless universe. There's unlimited potentiality. Ain't no thing like sky's the limit. There is no limit. There is no limit. So when we think about principle and when we fail to realize that principle is not bound by precedent, we limit our faith. What's faith? What's faith? Our complete trust, our confidence, this knowing. So when we forget that life is not bound by what has happened before, we limit our trust, or we limit our confidence in that which has already been accomplished. And we think, oh, well, only a few miracles are possible. Only a few miraculous events are possible because they come so far and few between, and that's because we have a mistake. We have a mistaken thought. We are believing that principle is bound by precedent, and it's not. We live in a limitless universe. God is not bound by what has happened before. All things are possible. All things are possible, right? So, when through intuition, faith finds its proper place. So intuition is an immediate understanding without conscious reasoning. Not a hunch, not a guess. Oh, and by the way, not a stereotype. Oops, did I say that? Intuition is not a stereotype. Intuition comes when we are deeply rooted and when we are deeply in this beautiful symbiotic relationship with Spirit in, through, and as us, when we know beyond a shadow of a doubt that life is living in, through, and as us, that God is living and breathing and having its way as me, intuition is this immediate understanding without conscious reasoning. So when he says, when through intuition, so when through this immediate understanding, confidence or trust finds its proper place under the divine law, there are no limitations, and miraculous results follow. So where am I with that? Where am I with this particular passage? Am I the one who fails to realize that principle is not bound by precedent? Is that me? Am I the one who says, lightning doesn't strike twice in the same place? Because principle is not bound by precedent. Just because it's happened there once doesn't mean it can't happen there again. Just because life has shown its ebbs and its flows doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the same thing all the time. Everything is new. Each and every situation is new. Every cell in your body, everything is proving to us, if we pay attention, that there is this newness. We are today different than who we were yesterday. We are today different than who we were when we walked in. We are today in that metamorphosis, like the butterfly, like the caterpillar becoming the butterfly. Each and every moment there's a change within us. The key is are we going to recognize that change and call it miraculous? Are we going to engage in this living faith, meaning in this living trust, in this living confidence that God is right where I am and that it is always evolving and changing in, through, and as me, as my consciousness absorbs more and as I know the truth of who I am? Did I lose you yet? Oh, good. See, living faith happens for us when we begin to know. So I this week, as I was working with my talk, it was like, well, how do you have faith? You know, what are the how-tos? If we were to give some step-by-step instructions, okay, group, here we go. Here's how to acquire faith. You know, and there's nothing that really can give us a step-by-step on how to have this living faith, how to really be in the faith. But what I can tell you is that don't look up how to have faith in your boyfriend or girlfriend, because it's kind of a little, well, if you don't trust them, if you don't trust her. It's about trust, right? Faith is this idea and this confidence without even having to know. It comes from this place of almost this intuitive knowing and this intuitive consciousness. And it comes from, it develops more and more when we stop and pause and get to know God. There's no other way around it. When we get to know, and if God has that little for some of us, when we get to know life, when we get to know life, this eternal presence, this loving, love, beauty, this whatever it is that we call this energetic that has animated us, that has created everything, whatever it is that we want to call it, the Atman presence, the infinite intelligence. When we stop whatever it is that we're doing and we get an opportunity to know this Atman presence, when we stop whatever it is we're doing, when we stop watching that television that keeps telling us that we're so separate from the life of God, and we just realize and recognize and take the moment to stop and be here in our heart space and recognize the Atman present within, when we begin to recognize that God presence within, when we begin to recognize that Christ consciousness within, when we begin to turn away from the world of effects and recognize that even though we might have a judgment to them. The world of effects is God, is life, is that eternal way that love and life is expressing. However, sometimes we get confused because we have a judgment about what it looks like and what it is and what it should be and what it could be and what it ain't and what it is, and we have all this judgment about it. So shut it down. Turn within. Begin to know life as your own life. Begin to know God as your life itself. Begin to know this Atman presence, this love, beauty, this infinite intelligence, this harmonious presence. Begin to simply recognize and court and fellowship and be in communion with this presence, and you will begin to experience this living faith that when you walk out the door, all of a sudden you're walking out the door and you're going, gosh, I don't feel so afraid anymore. Oh my gosh, I can actually talk to you. I'm not so shy. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. I'm not as depressed as I was before, because we're recognizing and we're dwelling in spirit, because we're recognizing that life is us. It is who and what we are. We're recognizing that there's nothing that separates our life from the life that God is, that it is who and what we are. God is my life. On page 292 of our book, Ernest Holmes says that it's not enough to say that there's one power, one presence, one life. That we must say that that life is my life right now. That it's not enough to say that it's out there or that it's you or whatever, but we must unite. We must bring that into our consciousness. We must recognize it. We must live it for ourselves, that that life is my life right now. Hello? Hello? It is my life right now. And to the degree in which I begin to accept this truth and know this truth and live from this truth is where I begin to really have this living faith. That I turn away from what has happened in the past and I don't let it limit me. It's kind of like an Olympic runner. Oh, well, the record has been set that the mile can be run in 12 minutes. Well, we all know that that record's been shattered. Imagine, no matter how you feel about this guy, but imagine Christopher Columbus thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to go along with the rest of you and think that the world's flat. And not venturing off. And not falling for the okie-doke or believing that the past has set the precedent. Oh, no one's ever survived. They go to the very edge and, fall off into the abyss. He said, no, I'm going to try this. Who's with me, Brought a gang of folks on the boat, and before you know it, he discovered there were people all over the world. He discovered there were people all over the world. And so what is it that we can discover? By allowing ourselves to know the truth. By allowing ourselves to know God as our life. By allowing ourselves to recognize so deeply that there's one life and one power and one presence, and that it is expressing beautifully and magnificently as each and every one of us. And that includes me. What can I discover when I recognize the God that is sitting right there in your chair? What kind of conversations can we begin to engage in as we begin to share about the way you have lived your God life and the way I have lived my God life? And how together, inseparable, we make up the allness that God is. I wonder what it would be like. And it gets to start here. It gets to start with the person sitting in your seat. It gets to start with you. Are you happy with the life that you're living? And how much more living faith is necessary in order for you to live full out? What else is necessary for you to get from point A to point B? And I tend to believe, kind of like the scriptures located in the Bible, because I like quoting all different kinds of words in scripture, but the scripture in the Bible says, "Seek ye first the kingdom, and all things shall be added unto thee." So when I seek first the kingdom, and the kingdom of God is within, when I seek first to know life, to know God, to know this Atman presence, I emerge knowing this grand truth. And no wonder everything's added on to me, because it was already there. I just had to realize it in the first place. I thought and I was believing in separation, like it wasn't mine, but it's already all been given. It's already all given. And by means of my living faith, my trust, my confidence, meaning my knowing my life as a life of God, then I get to experience that more and more. So we get to up our spiritual practice. We get to up our spiritual education. We get to up our communion with one another. We get to up the ante on whatever it is that we've been doing, so that we can indeed then live a little more fully than we have before. I don't know about you, but I like more. I like more. It's kind of like I can give you this kind of smile, or I can give you more. And more of what makes us happy, more of what makes us feel alive, more of what affords us the opportunity to be in communion with one another. That more is indeed the more that I'm talking about. Now, if we want more on the other side, more pain, more depression, more uncertainty, more doubt, more fear, then don't engage in spiritual practice. Keep doing what you're doing. You know, as a matter of fact, increase your hours on watching television, especially the news. Listen to those songs that degrade men, women, children, life. Yeah. Go around your favorite relative that likes to belittle you. But if that's not the more that you want, then step into the light. Step into the truth of who you are. Step into that which is already your birthright. Step into that living faith. Begin more education. Begin more time in prayer and meditation. Begin having sessions with the practitioners that are here in our spiritual community, so that you might know your life is inseparable from the life of God. It is an impossibility to separate your life from life itself. It's an impossibility for anyone to ever tell you that God is not in you and that we're not in God, because that is an impossibility, for all there is God. And it is expressing beautifully and magnificently as each and every one of us. So the invitation now is to take this into our quiet time. We're just going to be about 5 minutes or so. And in our quiet time, the invitation is to simply take the message, the music, the prayer, the song, whatever it is that resonates with you, and to be with it. To be with the truth of who we are. In our quiet time, it may be time where you get to practice meditation, or you get to simply practice a mantra, an affirmation. My life is the life of God. My life is the life of God. But however it is that you choose to use these next 4 minutes, be mindful, be purposeful. Use it to know your life is indeed the life of the Most High.
more joy, more love, more joy, more peace, more joy, more joy, more joy.
And so we give thanks for our dedicated time that we have dedicated to know our life as the life of God. Time in the silence and the stillness, recognizing and knowing by listening around us that life is happening around us, in us, as us. And so what I'm simply knowing is wholeness in the mind and the body. I'm simply knowing peace of mind and peace all around us, peace in our world. I'm simply calling forth abundance, abundant love and joy and peace and prosperity in our lives. And if there's anything else that you're simply calling forth into your own awareness, into your own consciousness, just say it out loud right now or say it softly within yourself. And as you do, know that it is already done in the mind of God. And so I'm simply knowing in my heart and in my mind, perfect and divine health for Candace, right where she is. For Rick, right where he is. Simply knowing divine healing and wholeness for those who are homebound and those who are live streaming from various convalescent homes and various shut-in places. I'm knowing health and wholeness right now. For those who are far away, I'm simply knowing that peace is indeed that which is already ours. So as we become in tune with it, we know it for ourselves. Peace in our homes, in our families, in our cities, our state, in our world. Right where our friends are, we know that God is living in a magnificent and powerful way as our friends, as our family. As each and every situation, we just simply lay it right now on the altar. Simply lay it right now. Lay it down. Know. Have that living faith that everything is going to come together for our highest good and the highest good of those around us. We're simply just going to let it be. And we're going to leave it there. And allow life to unfold in a beautiful and magnificent way because we're seeking to know our life as the life of God. And everything from there unfolds, and it has already been given. So for this, I give thanks. I give thanks for this knowing. I give thanks for this spiritual community. I give thanks for the abundance that is already here, for the peace that is already here, the joy that is already here, the love that abounds that is already here. I give thanks for this spiritual community which is uplifting the world. For as we know our life as the life of God, our light shines so brightly that others want to know what's up. And we might indeed make them aware and alert of their own divinity, that right where they are, God is, life is, beauty is, abundance is, peace is, prosperity is, eternal life is. So I give thanks. And I release this word now into the activity of the law, knowing that it returns unto me fulfilled and overflowing, because that's just the way it is. And joyfully, with the joy of youth, together we say, and so it is. Amen. So, beloveds, thank you so much for being here tonight. We have such a great opportunity to grow and unfold together. We have such a great opportunity to love each other and to simply be the expression of life in its fullness, no matter how silly or how grand and glorious it may seem. So thank you so much for being here. The invitation now is to invite our ushers forward. Melissa and Dennis, thank you so much for your service. And the invitation for us is to simply take out our gifts, our tithes, our offerings, that which we have brought to share with this spiritual community. What we know is that we give from the bounty. We give from that which we have been given. And because we have been given so much, we're just simply taking a portion of that which has already been given to us, and we're sharing it with this spiritual community. We are supporting this spiritual community. We're supporting our own growth and unfoldment. We're making it possible that these doors are open and that we have a beautiful and wonderful place where not only we can come, but anybody can come. Our doors are open to all people throughout the world to visit with us either online, live streaming, or that the physical doors are open so that those who might want to come and be with us here in fellowship may come, that they too may know that their life is that life of God. So it is to this that we give. We give to the growth and unfoldment of our spiritual community. We give to support our Wednesday night service and to support everything that happens here so wonderfully and so freely. So thank you in advance, and we give from that place of gratitude. We don't give from a place of I have to, I get to. I've been given so much, and from that so much, I take a portion and I gladly give to this community. And I know, and I have that living faith that more and more and more continues to flow in my direction, and that I am a gift and that I am gifted as well. So we bless these gifts, these tithes, these offerings, that which are placed into these baskets, knowing that they are multiplied and that they indeed are used for the benefit of all. And so for this I give thanks, and I let it be. Ushers, go forth. Beloved, multiply this consciousness. And as you give, you receive. So please open your hearts and receive the beautiful, beautiful music of my beloved Sunny Daye, Cole Miller, and Jim Bianchi. Love you.
Rev. Thank you, Reverend Sunshine. And so I want to share quickly. I was wondering if I was going to share this or not, but it was a wonderful discovery that we made recently about the origin of this song. And what I've come to understand is Paul McCartney's mother passed away when he was a young boy. And as time had gone by, it wasn't clear, his mother's face. When she would come to him, her face was less clear. And that vision of her became more distant. And so he felt often that reminder of that is in photographs and things like that. But he had the occasion one evening where she came to him and she was clear, tangible, so present. And it was out of that time that this song came to him. Like a wonderful musician, he took that which had been given and went right to the piano, and the song was born. When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my darkest hour, she is standing right in when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree that there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see that there will be an answer. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine on until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. Oh, you ought to let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer. Oh, we ought to just let it be, let it be, let it be. Oh, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer. You know we ought to just let it be. Just let it be. Let it be. Oh, as Mama said, just let it be. Whisper words of wisdom. Let it be. Just let it be. Just let it be. Let it be. Let it be.
Sunny Daye, Jim Bianchi, and Cole Miller. Beautiful. Let it be. I know, I know. So we're all revealers of truth. We have a few minutes to hear from you. So if there was something that was shared or something that came up for you or an aha that has come forth, now is the time where we have an opportunity to simply and briefly share with our community that which has come forth. Hey, beloved, good to see you today.
Well, let me tell you, just this week, in the last few days, I had a demonstration of what you shared in the paragraph.
Mm-hmm.
An experience of the faith in action, actually, living the action of faith, intuition and miracle. My partner came home, and she said that the car power steering went. She was driving, and it went on. She didn't have any power steering. So I said, well, you must have had a lot of power in you to get home. Because it's very, you know how hard it is to drive a car without power steering. So I went down there to look to see exactly what was going on, so to speak, and the drivetrain, what do you call it, the belt that goes around the drivetrain, it's like a long belt. That kind of popped off. So she had no drivetrain at all. Said, how did you get home? It must have been something inside of you. You were using your intuition. So I looked at the looked at it, and the alternator looked kind of weird because the pulley was loose. So I said, there's something wrong with either the alternator or whatever. So we checked out some mechanics. And believe me, I had a lot of faith because I don't trust a lot of mechanics, if you know what I mean. So I thought it was just going to be a replacement of the alternator or something else or whatever. But so we had someone actually come to the house, which is kind of unique too, because we usually take it to a garage. But I found this, I was just like using my own intuition, and I was scanning the classifieds on the internet. And I just happened to talk to this one guy, and he just sounded very connected to the spirit. Because when I make a decision, I always ask, is this person spiritually connected and in integrity? So I usually use that as a guideline. And it felt really good, because the intuition is a feeling to me. It's a feeling inside. And so my partner was a little bit more cautious, so she wanted to check his references out, and I said, I don't think you really need that, but anyway. So we had him come to the house. Now, this is what was the most out-of-the-box thing that I've ever heard of, was that when he went to look at the alternator, the bolt, or the nut that goes around there to hold it on, popped off. That's kind of unusual for anything like that to happen while you're driving. And have the belt come off and still drive home. So he says, well, I don't know if we can find another bolt right away. And I said, well, we can go to Home Depot and see if they have one. But he was, and I felt that this guy, he knew what was going on some other level, another dimension.
Okay.
This is faith happening in action. He went to the front of the car, looked down, and guess what? The bolt popped off, and it was sitting on the on a what do you call it?
The pan?
A bracket.
The bracket.
At the bottom of the engine. I said, and he picked it up. He said, "Here's the bolt." I don't know how it got there from popping off. That's kind of unusual.
Voila.
And so he said, well, this is going to be easy. He'll just pop it back on, put the belt on, and it was done. $50. We had a quote of about $400 or $500 from the dealer.
I love it.
What do you think of that?
I love it. Yeah. Somebody else could have said, oh, there's the nut right there. Let me just put that in my pocket. That'll be... One more. And Jenny. Jenny's got a question. If you don't know Jenny, Jenny's our beloved coordinator. Yes, beloved.
Was it your birthday the other day?
My birthday was on Wednesday.
So we would like to wish you a happy birthday.
Aww.
And light it. Go ahead and light it. Go ahead and light it.
Aww.
One more time, here we go.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear sunshine. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
Thank you. Yeah, we're going to split up that cake 80 ways, so if you want a piece of cake, we're going to definitely have that. You want to switch mics? Perfect, all right. Good deal. Well, thank you so much, Jenny. And thanks, everybody, for my flowers. These are beautiful. Wow, what a great week it has been, indeed. And another great birthday for me. So I love that. This Sunday, the 20th, we get to celebrate Easter, and Easter here at Seaside is a big deal. It's such a big deal that Sonny and I are driving all the way back from Long Beach to be here with you. So we'll be here with you this Sunday. So if you're around town, you show up, you'll get a double dose on Wednesday and Sunday. But when we walked in, we strategically put our programs in here today because we wanted everyone to walk out with these fancy schmancy bags to bring back on Sunday. We participate in our food pantry here, and this is the food pantry wish list. We have a great opportunity to be a part of feeding our community and making sure that folks are fed. It's one of the greatest gifts that we can give to one another is the gift of food. So please, there's a beautiful list right here of things that you can contribute. Take a look and see what's in your pantry, or be very conscious about it and make a special trip to the grocery store and pick up a few of the items that are on here. Put them in the bag. Bring this bag with you on Sunday when you come. And believe me, the lives that you will touch and the lives that you will make a difference in will be immense. Imagine that the food that you're contributing, feeding young people, adults, are sages, and making a difference in their life to where the gift of food is nourishing them, knowing that what we're going to do is we're going to bless it all. We're going to know that it's the life of God, and somehow or another, when they're eating that, they're going to know somehow that we've laid our hands on it, if you will, okay? Also, this on 4/23 at 6 o'clock, we are going to be starting our Gourmets for God sign-ups, and on the 23rd in the Emerson Room at 6 o'clock p.m., we're going to have a meeting for those of you who would like to staff the tables for Gourmets for God. And Gourmets for God around here is a big deal. It's a lot of fun. It's one of our biggest fundraisers. And so if you're interested in volunteering to staff the tables, in other words, to help folks sign up for all the different activities in Gourmets for God, we're going to have a quick meeting at 6 o'clock on the 23rd in the Emerson Room, and that's where we'll get a gang of instructions on what to do and how to be. These are your invitations to give to a friend. So knock on your neighbor's door. If there's someone you know that hasn't, been to service in a little bit, go ahead and give them this invitation. Invite them here to come and hang out with us on Sunday. It'll be good to have some new people, so we can kind of go, I haven't seen you before. What's your name? And we get an opportunity to meet and greet God in all its many assets and all its many aspects and all its many expressions. So please feel free to hand out those invitations, and if you need more, we have more for you. So thank you so much. All right, we have gone over time. Baby and mama. Yeah. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Victoria. Victoria's been holding vigil for us in the back. Thank you, Denise, who did our prayer. Cole Miller, thank you so much for bringing the percussion aspect of life to our music and blessing us with your presence. Jim Bianchi, thank you. Sunny Daye, thank you so much. And thank you for being here this evening and for bringing your consciousness and your love. If you'd like some prayer afterwards, our practitioners will be available, or if you want a handwritten prayer or just want us to pray with you all in secret, we'll know the truth for you.
And thank you, Reverend Sunshine.
Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. We're going to meet in the family room after service and just kind of hang out and fellowship with each other a little bit more. But right now, the invitation is to rise. To rise in consciousness, to know your truth, and to sing our closing prayer. It's in your program.
This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change
we want to see with open hearts and open hands. We lift our voices, in love we stand. This is our prayer, a song of peace. We get to be the change we want to see with open hearts and open hands. We lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand. We lift our voices, in love we stand.
I love you. Got hugs for you in the family room.
One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Because God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. Because God is all there is. I'm shining from the inside out. I'm so happy. I just wanna shout, woo! One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. One life living is you and me. One light shining is you and me. One love loving is you and me. 'Cause God is all there is. 'Cause God is all there is. 'Cause God is all there is. Thank you. All righty. So we're going to figure out what songs we're going to do for the Tizzy at the end of the month.